Chapter 4 Geodynamics. The knock on the door was gentle, yet in the oppressive quiet of the lab, it echoed like a gunshot. Ben remained still, almost certain he'd imagined it. The knock resounded once more, this time with greater urgency. He pushed himself up from the chair, his body feeling heavy, old. He shuffled to the door and opened it a crack. A nervous looking student assistant from the main office stood there clutching a tablet. Dr. Carter? Sorry to bother you, but there's someone here to see you. She says it's urgent. Before Ben could respond, a figure moved with unnerving speed, eclipsing the young assistant. A woman, tall and dressed head to toe in a sharply tailored black suit that seemed to absorb the light, stood in his doorway. She had severe, intelligent features and dark hair pulled back in a tight, professional knot. Her eyes, the color of dark smoke, swept over his chaotic office, taking in every detail in a single, sweeping glance that missed nothing. She stepped inside, extending a hand. Her grip was firm and cool. Dr. Benjamin Carter, she said, her voice a low, precise alto. It wasn't a question. My name is Kalen Vance. I'm the director of special acquisitions for geodynamics. She hesitated for a moment, her eyes fixing on the illuminated monitor behind Ben, where the improbable helix was still visible. A flash of something, perhaps recognition or confirmation, shimmered in her eyes. Your work has come to our attention, she continued, her voice dropping slightly. We have something we think you'll want to see. The next few hours were a disorienting blur. One moment, Ben was standing in the ruins of his academic career. The next, he was strapped into a plush leather seat inside a Gulfstream jet so new it still smelled of binder resin and expensive upholstery. There were no other passengers, just him and Kaylin Vance, who sat opposite him, her posture impeccably straight, her attention fixed on a tablet. She slid the device over the smooth wooden table toward him. A non disclosure agreement, she explained. Just standard protocol. Ben picked it up. The language was a dense forest of legal jargon, indemnification clauses, perpetual confidentiality, penalties that spoke in commas and zeros. It told him everything and nothing. He looked up, his confusion plain on his face. Kalen offered a disarming smile that didn't quite reach her smoky eyes. Everything will be clear once we reach our destination, Doctor. I promise. Hesitantly, Ben picked up the offered pen, a heavy, expensive instrument that felt alien in his hand. Before signing away a future he didn't understand, his mind retreated to the one solid thing in his universe, the anomaly. He saw it again in his mind's eye, that impossible segment of code Keats had isolated. That was real. The rest of this, the jet, the woman, the NDA, was just a dream. He signed his name, the pen scratching softly in the jet's near total silence. The moment it was done, a wave of exhaustion he hadn't realized he was holding back washed over him. He leaned his head against the cool leather of the seat and drifted into a much-needed, dreamless sleep. He was woken by a gentle shake. The jet's engines were silent. Through the window he saw not a runway, but a vast, sun-bleached expanse of desert. Kalen was standing over him. You're finally awake, she said, a hint of genuine surprise in her voice. I left you to sleep. I thought you might need it. She gestured toward the door. They're ready for us. Ben stood, feeling the stiffness in his joints, as if he were waking from a long slumber. his mind grappling to reconnect with reality. He followed her down the creaking metal steps and onto the stark desert runway, where the dry, superheated air slammed against him like a physical blow, sucking the moisture from his skin. The site buzzed with a hive of controlled, purposeful activity. Massive canvas tents, their fabric taut and sun-bleached, were stretched over intricate scaffolding, casting fleeting shadows on the parched earth. Generators thrummed with a steady, deep resonance, their sound vibrating through the air, while portable light stands cast harsh, angular shadows under the relentless midday sun. People in dusty work gear moved with precision and intent, their clothes coated in a fine layer of sand, as they carried complex sensor arrays and sophisticated measuring equipment. The scene felt less like an archaeological dig, with its air of discovery and history, and more like a clandestine military operation, shrouded in secrecy and purpose. The oppressive fatigue that had plagued Ben for days evaporated, replaced by a surge of pure, unadulterated curiosity. Kalen led him toward the largest tent, a simple canopy shading a massive square hole dug into the desert floor. A heavy duty ladder descended into the darkness of a deep shaft. A geodynamics mining crew found this by accident 2 weeks ago, Kalen explained, her voice low. They were surveying for uranium deposits. They found something infinitely more valuable and infinitely more mysterious. She turned to him, her gaze direct. We called you because of your unique theories, Doctor. We think you might be the only person who can help us understand what we're looking at. What is it? Ben asked, his voice now a strained whisper. Kalen smiled again, a true enigmatic smile this time. Why don't you climb down and see for yourself? The suspense was unbearable. He moved hastily to the ladder, the metal rungs hot to the touch. As he descended, the desert sun vanished, replaced by a growing darkness. The air grew cooler, carrying a strange metallic scent. At the bottom, a battery of powerful floodlights illuminated the scene, and Ben's breath caught in his throat. It was a machine, or part of one, half buried in the ancient rock like an enigmatic relic from another world. Its surface was a seamless, non reflective black, absorbing all light and casting no reflections, with a shape composed of curves and angles that felt profoundly alien, like a puzzle piece with an unfathomable cosmos. He reached out a trembling hand, the anticipation and fear coursing through his veins, and laid it flat against the surface. In the stuffy heat of the underground shaft, the object was impossibly, unnaturally cold, sending a shiver through his fingertips. What have you found out so far? Ben asked, his voice carrying a mix of awe and urgency as he turned to a geologist examining a sample nearby. The man looked up, his eyes wide with astonishment and a hint of disbelief. Nothing that makes sense, he said, his voice tinged with wonder. The material composition doesn't match anything on the periodic table. It's not from this planet, Doctor. As Ben watched, a team of workers meticulously brushed away sediment from a newly exposed section, their movements as delicate and precise as a surgeon's as they unveiled more of the mystery. This wasn't just an object, it was a vessel, a ship. And as the full staggering implication of the discovery settled upon him, a revelation as vast as the universe itself, only one thought managed to form in his mind, echoing like a mantra. Keats must see this, Ben thought, the weight of the cosmos pressing upon his shoulders.